Hello and welcome to this new video in the SQL section. Let's move further with date time. This is the second part in the date time. In the last video, we have seen some basic concepts, data types, and how to create dates. Now let us move towards the first thing is consider if you have already the dates. How can you extract different components like year, month, etc. So which are again very simple and straightforward things. Firstly, we'll start with a function called as year. As the name suggests, year returns you the year of a date. So two things, it takes in a date time. Now you pass the date anyhow. You pass it in a static way by writing hard code in single quotes. You use a function to create a date or any column as well, and it returns you integer. Keep that in mind. The most important thing, the year will not return you date time. It will return you an integer because it's a component. So if you want to pass the current date, you will do this way. So if you want to get the current year, this function will work dynamically. First, the get date will return you current date, and then year will get the year of that. So this is how you get the current year dynamically. Then, if you have any column, let's say from dim employee, and here there is something called as birth date column in employee. Okay, I can keep the birth date column also along with it, just like what we have been doing. So what it will do, it will just work like all our functions, string functions earlier. It will calculate and derive the year for every single employee or every single row which has that date. So likewise, you will get all the years. Fine. Similarly, I'll just copy paste this. If I want the month, the current month, this is how I will get month of get date, then month of a column. Now this column, you have to make sure that it is of some date type, either date, date time, or date time 2. Okay. If it's not, at times it happens that your dates could be stored in a varchar column. So there is a way how we'll also convert that to a date time. We'll see those things. All right. Once our reach has expanded in data types. This is the, and finally you can have the third component called as day. So either you get the current day this way and the day for a column. Keep in mind, when you're talking or communicating, people often interchange two things and they think both are the same. One is date and another is day. So day is a component of a date. So today is like the day is 3rd. And if I talk about date, it is the complete thing, 3rd November 2023. That's how you refer. So keep that in mind, right? Again, you could have also done one more thing. If you want to calculate year of a specific date, not the current date, so then use date from parts. So you could have passed the date explicitly, whatever that may be, month and day, and close the bracket of year also. Same way you can do with month and day. All right. So these are 3 components I can say for the date category, and don't mistake yourself by quoting interchangeably day against date or vice versa. Okay, both are different. All right. Now there are multiple ways of doing the same things, and so is the case with SQL also. So these 3 things that we have done right now, there are a couple of more ways how we can do them, and we need to know them also. But if I say I can do the same thing by different way, the next question should come up is, what is difference between both? So first we will see the function and then we'll understand. So the first function which I'm going to introduce now is a function called as DATEPART. If I want to calculate year, month or day, and not just those 3 things, this DATEPART is a generic function. It takes in 2 things, interval and the date in the second category or the input, and it returns integer. Keep that in mind. So you have to do control space over here. As soon as you do so, you will get all the possible components of the date and time. So if I want year, I'll just say y and just pass a column or current date. I can pass date anyways. Now you know that. All right. So this is how you get the year. If I do double M, I'll get the month. If I do double D, I'll get the day. All right. And likewise, you can explore a lot of things into this control space. There is something kind of like, let's say, week or weekday. All right. So weekday, today is the 6th. Now, how do you understand this? There are 7 days in a week. The week begins from Sunday and not Monday. We are used to Monday to Sunday, but it is actually Sunday. So Sunday means 1, Monday means 2, and likewise. So today Friday is 6, tomorrow Saturday will be 7, and then the week will reset again. Likewise. Okay, fine. So this is becoming another way to extract all those components, and you can explore the other ones. I'm not going through them. And this date part, if you watch carefully, it returns you an integer. Okay, must remember this. Why? Because there is another function called as date name, and it also has the same kind of syntax. But the biggest difference between both date part and date name is date part returns you integer output, whereas date name, if you see, it returns you varchar and varchar. So this output will be returned as string or text. This will be returned as integer. Why is this important to emphasize? Is because, and understand, we will be using these functions inside some other function as nested function. So when you pass them as an argument, it clearly tells you that what kind of argument is needed. Does it need integer or varchar? So places where you want year in integer, you can either use year or date part. Places where you want year in terms of string, you will use this function date name because it returns you varchar. Although you may not be able to see it visually, but that's how the thing is. Same output, but this is varchar. And another thing is, instead of writing now date name, I use date part, I use date name. Now see the difference. This is the same function in date part was giving me digits like the month, but here I'm getting the month name. That is the difference. So this is another requirement that we wanted to learn. How can I get the month name? This is the way. And if you do, for example, day, you will get day for sure, but double D, not sorry, maybe I think day of, or maybe weekday, sorry. So weekday, if you see here, we were getting the number. Here instead you get the day name, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and both are, required at times. So when you need integer, go to date part. When you want text, come to date name. And it is very simple to remember. I understand as we are going further, you're learning a lot of functions, and the impression I get from, or the reaction I get from students is, okay, these are too many functions. I would say these are not, all the functions that we have covered yet. There are a lot to learn, just to give you a heads up. But you should not get worried. You should focus on piece by piece, try and understand them in isolation, and then we will use them gradually. But the most important thing is that you have to keep on revising these things in your mind, okay? Or look at the queries or run them at least, even though if you're not able to write them again and again, at least run them. And how can you remember, okay, date name gives what and date part gives what? If you're able to now remember, that's fine. I'll give you a hint. That's how when I learned these things, I remembered. So the date name is giving me the month name or the day name. So it has this name word, which means that it is going to return me name, like month name, Monday, Jan, Feb, March, or Monday, Tuesday for weekday. Whereas the date part doesn't give me such. So I'll only remember about date name, that it gives me some name, and date part is simply opposite, which is integer. That's it. Simple. Okay. And there is one more function called as format, which can help us to format a value. Now, format function is not specific to date and time. Keep that in mind. You can use it to format numbers also, and I'll show you separately how we can do it. But currently, let us focus on this. It has three things: value to be formatted, the format, and culture. We'll ignore the culture for right now, but it returns n varchar. Keep that in mind. It returns text, not integer. So if you want to format your days, so there are a lot of possibilities. Let's take any date by current date or date from parts, and I want to format. You have to write the formats in single quote. And the simple thing is, you get started with double Y first. Okay, execute. So you will get the short year, the last 2 digits of the year. Okay, in this way. And the possibilities are many. If you write this in uppercase, it will be a problem. So here you have to be specific. The formats are case sensitive. I mean, they can work or they will give you something unexpected error or result. So this is not valid. in T-SQL, as long as I know, I'm not sure about the other databases. All we are talking about is specifically on T-SQL, and some of the functions might not be available in other databases, so you have to cross check them. Okay, so double y in lowercase and 4 times y in lowercase will bring you the complete year name. Similarly, you can say double d. Okay, it will give you the the day in 2 digits. If you say single d, okay, it has a separate meaning. So each character has some meaning to it. If you write triple d, you will get the short day name. And now come to month. So can I write double M to get the month digit? No. Here's where you have to understand. This is giving you nothing but the minutes. What you have to do is you have to write M in uppercase. This is an exception that you will remember. And why that's the case, I'll let you know. So now I'm getting the answer correctly, which is the month 11 November. If I do triple M, I'll get short month name, which is NOV. Now this is helpful because the date name was giving me complete month name. And if you want a short month name like Jan, Feb, Mar, APR, format function can help you. Okay. So keep that in mind. And if you do 4 times M, then you get the complete month name. Alright. Similarly, to format hour, minute, seconds, you have HH for hours, MM for minutes. And this is the reason why there is a conflict between M. So uppercase M is used for months and lowercase m for minutes, and for seconds SS. Okay, so you can try out. And what you can do is you can combine these formats as per your choice. Now when you format, keep in mind one golden statement. Formatting is only about changing the appearance. The underlying value still remains the same. Okay. And anyways, our select is an extraction. So I can say dt mmm dash yyyh mm ss. I can give a space in between. And these colons which I'm using or dash, these are my own choice. I can use any separators that I want. All right, because it's end of the day format. And you can have month first, day in between, year later, hours later, any combinations you can try out. Okay, at times people who work in US, they prefer month first. So bring in the month first. You can use separator anything, like instead of dash, you can use space, slash, anything, because end of the day, it is just a format. You're not changing the underlying value. Keep that in mind. Okay. So that's it in this video. There are a few more functions that we will continue in the next one. See you.